If people in my life weren't so nosy, I would share our behind the scenes conversation, but I will not. But what we were talking about, Erica, before we hit record, a lot of my friends are going through the same thing, man. So
Yeah.
keep
Honestly, my friends, they've been going through the same thing. And they're just like, everybody just please stay patient. And all I keep hearing in the background is, truth is I'm tired. Like, I'm so tired.
tired is an understatement, but you
Fighting for my
know,
life.
we're here now. We have beautiful people. We have beautiful music. Yeah, what is going on, everybody? Have you been taking care of yourselves physically, mentally, and financially? We missed y'all last week.
Had
Your
some
boy's
storms.
been busy, man. I done. Yo, the work I've been putting in. I built a Google site for myself.
Wow.
So, yeah, I got my professional stuff on there. I have the podcast on there. I have Pass the Peas on there. I have Way to the Heart on there. I have my gaming stuff on there, and I have from when I was gonna start a vending machine company on there, so people get to see the gamut. But we'll talk about that off mic. Off mic. Stop being nosy, y'all.
Yeah.
We gonna get into a couple things today. No, there's a lot of symbolism in this show. Shout out to Romo on the music. Shout out to all the Dusted Wax, or former Dusted Wax if you're a former artist, for music for the show. Much appreciated. They are linked in the description. Feel free to show them some love by purchasing their products, their projects, and listening to their projects. Yeah, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Rob back with another episode of From My Experience podcast. I am not alone. I have the co-hostess with the mostest, Erica. What is going on?
I'm 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 still here. Here. Here.
I'll be
Yeah.
down. I'll be down.
I'm here.
Listen, I'm trying to guide you, man, because I'm telling you, man, I'm trying to help guide you so you won't end up where I'm at 40, okay? Like, it's I don't want you to end up here. I want you to do way better than me, and you will do way better than me. If I had only known what I know now 10 years ago, 15, no, 15, no, I was too young. 10 years ago, oh yeah, would have taken heed, would have did things differently. But it is what it is, man. How are you overall, though, Erica?
Oh, I'm doing good overall. No crash outs since the last time we spoke, so that's really good. I think I just broke a streak.
Good.
Um, and then I went to a house party this past weekend, and that was really fun. So
Okay.
yeah. I'm branching out and being in different crowds and stuff like that, socially and friend wise.
Ugh,
And I
social.
think,
Sorry.
yeah, I know I've been a little social butterfly lately. I mean, come on, give me props. I ain't no hermit, but
Here, world, here, what did it do? Here, world. Little praise for your
yeah,
outgoingness.
yeah. A little outgoingness, and I will say I was dreading it. You know how usually you go with being an introvert. You're just like, oh my gosh, why did I make plans? Because I thought I was going to be new and be
Could be
different.
snuggling on the couch with myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly where I was like, oh my gosh, what I would do for just a movie, just alone in my bed with some popcorn. And then I actually was like, well, girl, just go out. And I did, and it was fun, I will say. And so, yeah, I have been outside.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful.
Yeah.
I spent the weekend building a Google site for myself, showcasing my professional and personal projects.
Is that why you texted me that last week? I was so confused.
What did I text you last week?
You asked me if I had a spreadsheet, and I was like, uh-huh.
Oh, maybe something I could showcase. I was like, maybe she has a number I can go off of, so I made a number up. But we still need to do that though. But
Yeah.
you talking about I asked you to do that like 7 years ago.
For some reason, I could have sworn it was done, but I was like, was it? I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, I could have sworn it was done too. Hence the text message.
I gotta go on our Google. Hold on.
Dang, people get their internship credits and graduate and say, I ain't gotta do nothing else.
I took a short hiatus from the show.
Short?
I said I gotta find me, myself, and I.
You know what? You ready for headlines?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm hitting headlines music. The headlines music is all for you, man. I'm not doing this.
All right. Okay, so we have two big breaking news things that happened today. So Diddy was acquitted of the two more serious crimes that he was charged with and from the RICO case. And so he was actually denied bail and bond today too as well. So he will remain in custody until his sentencing at a later time. And for right now, we all know that he has been serving about 9 months in jail. So we don't know if the sentencing will contribute to time served. We don't know the length of anything, and I don't know exactly when his sentencing date is. I'm pretty sure that'll come up within today or tomorrow. So yeah, and he was denied just because of safety of those who had testified against him, and that he somewhat admitted about his aggressive and violent tendencies. So that happened today, this afternoon, I believe. I was watching it. And also Brian Kohlberger, he decided to do the plea deal, and he pled guilty to the break-in and murders of the 4 Idaho college students that happened back in 2021. It's been mixed feelings about this, as he originally pled not guilty, but then he did decide to take the plea deal today. And he has about 4 consecutive life sentences that he is facing with. Death penalty is off the table. And there was one family, unfortunately, they're really still upset with the situation, the outcome of this, because a lot of families still don't understand why he targeted these 4 students. They don't understand why he did, and they would like to have some answers. And it's kind of hard to move forward and move on with this and accept the situation. And for some families, they just want to go ahead and close the chapter and heal from it. So it's just unfortunate to the families of the victims, but I hope that they find their peace with this.
Those are your headlines.
Yeah, sad headlines today, y'all. Sorry.
And you talk through the fade out. All right. Yo.
You know I can't hear the music.
Shh, don't tell them about our production issues. I still don't get why. I got to test that out with someone who has a roadcaster and see if it works for them. It doesn't make sense that you can hear the sound effects but can't hear the music. I don't get it.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's me. It probably is me. I don't know.
No, it's not you. All right, y'all. So we only have 2 topics. Hold on, I got to mic. Okay, there we go. We only have 2 topics, and they kind of tie in with each other. And yeah, this actually was sparked by a video. I guess it went viral, and someone's making it go re-viral. But the topics are basically times where peer pressure has cost you dearly, and the power of thinking for yourself. So Ericca and I are gonna share some embarrassing stories about times we succumbed to peer pressure and what it cost us. And I'll go first. So there's a viral video going around. I think it already went viral, but like people do, like they'll take a viral video and then they'll put a video of themselves giving commentary. So it's this guy who decided he wanted to take a challenge where he drank Everclear without making a face. So I watched it because I just knew he was going to fail. For those of you who don't know what Everclear is, or Diesel, it is literally pure alcohol. I forget the proof, but whatever 100% alcohol is, that's what it is. Everclear is typically what Anyone who's making like a big alcoholic punch bowl or anything, like that's what they soak the fruit and stuff in. Like it is straight. It tastes absolutely disgusting. I'll get to that in a second. It's not to be drank alone. That is supposed to be, from my experience, big batch drinking. Not even like a personal drink. Like no, like not no. Like, and if you're gonna put it in the personal drink, you need to do like a fourth of a shot, and you'll be good. Like it is literally pure alcohol. It will get you destroyed, but it tastes disgusting. So anyway, I don't know which brand of, because there's a couple. Everclear and Diesel, the only two I know. But anyway, he fails at the challenge, and I laughed profusely. Then another video came out where he said, okay, I did it wrong. It's supposed to be this temperature, and I didn't measure my shot, and they say if you chase it with water, it would be better. He failed again. And so it made me reflect on my first memory. So back in the day, I ain't gonna say no names. In college, I'm in my dorm, I'm chilling, hear commotion out in the little lobby area, because I had a different type of dorm. I won't get into the details. So I come out my room, I'm like, man, what y'all talking about? They say, man, Rob, man, they scared to drink this. They scared to drink this, man. I told everybody to take a shot. So I'm young. Wasn't thinking. I looked at the bottle, and I saw what it was, and I knew what it was. I knew exactly what it was, because by then, I started drinking. Even though I wasn't a heavy drinker in college, I started drinking, and I kind of knew what was what. And it was Everclear. And I said, man, they scared. Ain't nobody worried about, man, give me this bottle. Took the top off the bottle, took a gulp. I tried to let out a Ric Flair, woo! It came out like this.
I'll be damned. I'll be damned. I'll be damned.
That is what came out. After I caught my breath, everyone continued to laugh. I didn't, it wasn't a dramatic, situation, but I felt it, and I told them I don't recommend it. Now I was talking like this for about 3 minutes. Like, yeah, I was talking like I had strep. And then the next thing I know, I was waking up the next day. That's all I remember. I took that shot, and it wasn't late at night at all. I think the sun might have still actually been up. It was not late. It was probably dusk. And yeah, I definitely got back to my room, and I was waking up the next day. And I said, never in my life. I knew it was stupid when I was going to do it, but I was with trusted people, and I wasn't going anywhere. I didn't have plans to go anywhere anyway. And so I did it. And it cost me a block of time in my life that I'll never remember. And it was very irresponsible of me and very dangerous of me too. But all I can say about it now is,
I'll be damned.
So yeah, that's one of many stories I have. Ericca!
Oh my gosh. I feel like I always blank out when it comes to stories. And the thing is, I have so many. And I have so many times where I can think of it. But as soon as I'm like, oh, let me think of, I go blank instantly. So I'll touch on one of my drinking stories. I've had a few, actually.
We know, Vegas.
Oh, yeah, Vegas. So I'll definitely touch on Vegas.
You already told Vegas. You got to tell us new ones.
Okay, fine. I'll talk to y'all about, fine. I'll have to talk to y'all about Broccoli City. Oh, yeah, Broccoli City. I went to Broccoli City a couple years ago with two friends of mine.
We don't know what that is.
It's a music festival in DC, but little do they ever tell you that it's in Anacostia. So yeah.
What does that mean?
Anacostia is straight you're not supposed to be there after dark. You're not supposed to be there. It is straight hood. I have never been out blacked before in my life.
She said I've never been out blacked for. Go ahead, yo.
Anacostia, though, absolutely
I'll
not.
be damned.
And no way. I would never go there willingly. So when I realized that we were driving closer and closer to the hotel and everything, and we were walking, I said, hold on. I said, is that the Anacostia River? I said, I know we not in Anacostia, all places, y'all. Come on.
I'll be damned.
It was probably the worst year to go because And mind you, there's no, I don't know, there's no field, there's nothing. So you're just on a blacktop baking in the sun for 13, 14 hours out the day for 3 days straight. Oh my gosh. So it's hot, it's humid. They promised us free water, trucks and everything. There's no water. And then you find out that the water is being funneled from the Anacostia River. I said, they got bodies in
Ew.
there.
I'll be damned.
Making me so mad. Anyways, I get peer pressured with my one friend because she's trying to take the edge off. She's trying to cool down everything, you know. So she goes over to one of the little stands and buys a little something and everything. So I was like, okay, girl, yeah, I'll share it with you. No worries. It's fine. I was fighting for my life the rest of the day. I kid you not. The way I was standing in that porta potty for 40 minutes. I was in a porta potty for 40 minutes while she stood outside to guard the porta potty door for me. And I was standing there, and I remember vividly being like, how do you flush? And I was in there for 40 minutes. And I was just like...
Trying to figure out how to flush a porta potty that you don't flush?
I know. And then I was sitting there. I said, how do you flush? And then I was like, how do I get out of here? It is so hot up in here. And
yeah, porta potties are very hot and disgusting.
And I hated it because I just wanted to go over to some bushes and just have her like cover for me or something. But I was like, porta potties, absolutely not. I was fighting for my life. Mind you, it was around 3, 4 o'clock. So the sun's at its peak. Every time I stood up, I couldn't tell if I was going to throw up or if I was going to pass out. And it didn't help when you had a whole bunch of these little like ambulance trucks being like, move out the way. And they going to go grab people that
They're coming to get you.
I was convinced they were coming to get me. I said, who flagged them down for me? So it was just miserable because I was so out of it and I just felt so nauseous because of the heat. And we basically didn't eat that whole day either. Yeah, that was probably the worst thing I could have ever done because I didn't eat until practically 11 o'clock that night, and I had been up since 6 o'clock in the morning, and that was what I had during the day. I was so miserable. My stomach hurt so bad because I had nothing in my system. I was dehydrated. It was the worst thing ever. And yeah, and Anacostia.
I'm sorry.
And all they wanted to offer us was liquor. I said, where's the water at? I said, this is the first time I will turn down a drink because where's the water? I'm dehydrated.
No water for you.
No water. Mm-mm.
Wow.
I'll be damned.
Ooh. Well, let's see here. So many things that I did. Oh, you know what? I think I told that story already. Oh man, you got me thinking now. Hold up. Peer pressure.
It's like I swear I have many, but it's like they just blank out.
Yeah. And I'm also trying not to incriminate myself or others.
Yeah, that too.
Definitely that. Oh, nah. I got one for you.
Okay.
It cost me. This was back in my record label rap days. Those of you who you know what, the details don't matter. Anyway, I can't remember exactly the circumstances, but they had a show and wanted me to come to the show, and then after, you know, they were going to be quote unquote groupies or whatnot. So I'm like, all right, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Ended up meeting them. Yeah, they were having like a show in my neck of the woods or something like that. So ended up meeting them, holla at them, blah, 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 right? We get to the hotel, ayo. They're like, yeah, man, you know, you come in the room, blah, blah, blah. I waited because I'm smart. I was like, let me see what y'all talking about first. When those young ladies got out the car and made their way to the room, I said, nah, I'm good. I'll see y'all. I see y'all when I see y'all. Y'all look like y'all gonna have plenty of fun without me. There's plenty enough to go around for all y'all, if you know what I mean. I'm cool with that. So cool. So it only cost me gas that night, and I don't normally get down like that anyway, right? But yeah, I'm very cautious when it comes to that kind of stuff, man. Just not even the legal side of it, but just health wise, I'm like, nah, I'm good, man. But yeah, they got me out the house. I was out super late, burning gas, and I was like, man, I was like, now I just need to listen to my gut. When I know people is on some BS or on some fuddy duddy stuff, I'm gonna just leave it right where it's at.
I can't remember if I told this story of when I was peer pressured to go on a date with someone I wasn't really interested in entertaining,
Mm-hmm.
and my friends had tagged along. So yeah, so so that was a peer pressure moment. My friends basically made a dating account for me, took my phone from me, everything. It was about a couple years ago. Took my phone from me, made a dating account profile, all that stuff, was messaging all these different people and everything for me and everything like that. I didn't really care to have a profile at the time. Still don't really care for it. I'm more of a organic type of meat person. Um, and they set up a date with this guy and I had to go there. My friends were in the back seat, and I had to basically drop them off at the restaurant before I could even go in because I had to meet the guy in the parking lot. And my friends orchestrated it where they were able to sit in the table behind us during the entirety of the date. Um, that was the worst day ever because because I wasn't talking to him. I had no conversations with this man whatsoever. I didn't want to do the date to begin with.
And you did it because they told you should go out with them?
Yeah, they peer pressure me because they're like, you need to put yourself out there. You need to do more. And I was just comfortable in my little bubble, and I was like, I was like, okay, I guess we'll do it for the plot, whatever. Wrong. Should have never did it because um he had colored eyes, so he had colored he had colored
I'll be
eyes.
damned.
He was staring at me like a husky, and I hated it because they want you to compliment their eyes so bad, and it's like, brother, we all got eyes here. Relax. Um, and then he ordered a barbecue brisket sandwich for brunch off the brunch menu,
Yes.
and I had some chicken sliders, and I basically talked the entire time because he just sat there. He It gave me completely nothing to work with. I said, "Man, I am the most entertaining person here because I'm keeping this conversation going. I'm keeping this date going." And watching him eat across from me and also seeing my friends right behind him
That had to be
staring at me,
distracting.
it was so distracting because then they were texting me saying, "Can y'all hurry up and eat?" I said, I'm trying here. I'm trying."
Jeez.
And I remember being like, "Okay, yeah, this was fun." Just watch. He was the messiest eater ever. Every time he took a bite, more meat plopped down on the plate on the other side of the sandwich. He was so messy. His hands were all saucy. I was just so disgusted.
So I see.
And it was just so nasty, and I was just like, why did I go with this peer pressure? Because I wish I could just be like away from this person completely. And I remember they brought the tab over, and he slapped down his military dependent card for the benefits to get the discount, and I was like, meal was only $13, brother. Like, you ain't got $13. Like,
Wow. Why you don't do that, man, like that?
I'll be damned.
it was $13.
He earned discount.
He ain't earn it. His pappy did. He ain't earn
His
it.
I'll be damned. I'll be damned.
not his pappy.
I was like, you ain't served.
Oh, he ain't served. Wait a minute.
He
Oh
had
nah.
and I was like, you ain't served.
He got.
I
Oh
was
wait,
like,
there's a card for dependents.
yeah, yeah. And
I'll be
that's
damned.
My
why
daddy
I was-
served. I ain't got one.
I'll be damned. I'll be damned.
Hold on, I've been paying full price this whole time, and I could have.
I'll be damned.
Yes, and
Uh.
I legit, I looked at it because he ain't even give the server like a chance to actually put the tab down before he slapped it on the table. And I said, "Oh, you served in the military?" He said, "Nah, my dad did." I said, you a grown man. My meal was only $13. What are you talking about? And I remember him asking for them to bring me a box because I didn't finish my sliders. And I said, "Did you want to take some?" He said, "Yeah, I was gonna ask." And I was like, "Fuck."
Let me get lemonade. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he took two. I said, "Oh, okay." I only had that was, and then I just remember the servers were in on it. Like the waiters and waitresses, they kept cheesing at me every time because they knew that I was on a date and my friends orchestrated it. And I was like,
Poor
this
fella.
has been the worst date. Yeah, I was like,
See how y'all
this
do
was the
us?
worst date.
See how y'all do us?
Hey, you eat a barbecue brisket sandwich like that in front of me. I'm like, he's lucky I didn't just leave right then and there because I was so disgusted.
Oh my
It was
god. I don't.
sauce. It was so messy. It was so messy. I said, for brunch, I said, brunch? It is 11 a.m. and you ordering a barbecue brisket sandwich?
What's wrong with that? Yo, I eat like that's lunchtime, yo. That man was home. Yo,
Brunch.
he eating like a man. That's how. Yo, I definitely had pizza today at like 11 o'clock for
He
sure.
needed he needed a bib. He needed a
Okay, now
bib
that I
because
can't
the
help
way that
him
was
with.
so messy. I think I went home and I deleted my entire account after that. I told my friends, I said, I'm done. I said, I'm done.
You wasn't done.
Yeah.
Have I ever peer pressure? Ooh, peer pressure date. No, I did. No, haven't done that. Yeah, I'm too particular for that. What else has peer pressure gotten me into? Oh, can't tell that story. Okay, yeah, can't tell that story either. Oof. Let's see. Oh, this is a dumb one, but it's lighthearted. And this is one that's probably caught us all up. I used to be like with my gamer friends, I was like the day one person. Like I had friends who all like when a new game dropped, they were buying it day one no matter what. And my dumb ass was trying to keep up. And I didn't need to be keeping up because one, this was like when I knew nothing about sharing and being smart with my money. But two, like the games weren't even always that interesting to me. I just bought them because they were buying them and we would play them occasionally. But it was a waste of money. For a good, I did that for a good while, but then I stopped after a while because I'm like, yo, y'all, like this is just FOMO. Like y'all really just buying this day one to say, hey, I bought it day one. That's it. That's all it really does for you. It doesn't give you anything special. It doesn't do anything special. You just have the game before other people get paid and can buy it responsibly. So that was probably one of the dumber things that I did. Hold on, I got another quick one. There had to have been something I tried. Man, see, you shouldn't have mentioned drawing a blank because now that you mentioned drawing a blank, I'm now drawing a
Yeah.
blank, and I should have millions of stories.
That's what I'm saying. When you're not thinking of it, they all are right there. But as soon as you say cringe moment right there, it's gone.
That's still something at time. Well, that is not categorized as pressure. That's categorized as something else.
Yes. Oh, you just gave me a memory for me. Yay.
I can't. You go. I'm really trying to. I gotta sit over here and think and try.
Okay, so I have two. So the first one, flashback to high school. It was spring break, and you still had track practice at the time and everything. And I remember showing up. My parents dropped me off, and they went on about their married business. And there was a couple of other girls there, and the gate to the track was locked because of spring break. And I don't know if you know about the particular high school I went to, but they got barbed wire fence, right?
Oh Jesus.
They climbed it. So I'm not coordinated at all in the slides. I don't even know why I decided to be a diehard, like a try hard at track. I was the slowest one on the team, yet I had the heart. I had the heart of a lion for some reason. I said, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. It took me 10 minutes to climb that fence, okay? One. And to also do my little track workout and then have my parents come and pick me up. Don't you know that all them girls, as quickly as they climbed up it to get onto the track, they climbed back up it to get down? Don't you know? I got to the top of that barbed wire fence and I sat there. I locked eyes with my dad in the car in the parking lot and I said, "Come get me."
Your dad had to come up the fence and get you?
He had to come up on the other side and coach me on where to put my feet. And then he had to just grab me because he said, he said he could just see it now. Because also the way that it was, I was on like a hill. And I said, oh my gosh, I locked eyes with him. I said, "Come get me before I roll my ankle. We go to the ER. Come get me." And I'll never forget, all those other girls were sitting there. And they were sitting there just watching the fact that my dad had to go get me. I'm the oldest girl on that team that showed up, right?
Wow.
I'm like a junior.
You showed your
like
age.
Yeah, I was 16 and my dad had to come walk up there and grab me off the barbed wire fence. And don't you know I ended up cutting myself, just scratching myself on the fence too, on the back of my arm. And I was just like, that was a journey, that was a trial and tribulation, and I'm glad I saw it through.
Oh my God. Yo,
And
your dad getting you off a fence at the big age of 16 is just...
I'll be damned.
yes. Oh my gosh. And mind you, I've had to climb that fence a couple of times that year too. I never got better at it. I never did. One time my entire shirt got caught and I was just like, is this it for me? Is this it? And one time my pants got caught on it and snagged like a hole. And I said, oh my gosh. I was like, I can't win with these fences. But that was definitely a moment right there for me. I think about that all the time. I'm sure he doesn't even recall it, but I recall the fact that I made eye contact with him and we had a silent conversation where I said, "You either come get me or I'm landing on my head. Which one do you prefer?" The other memory, the other memory I have is being in undergrad, and we were at the grad student campus, the medical campus, because they had a better cafeteria over there. And you had your meal plan, you had your little dining dollars and everything like that. But it was towards the end of the semester, the fall semester, winter breaks coming up. Dining dollars is low. You ain't got no dining dollars. You ain't got no swipes, right? And I just remember we all had our backpacks because we were swiping 6 meals. We were gonna swipe 6 meals where I said I want 3 grilled cheese and I want 3 chicken cheesesteaks. And that was gonna like complete my meals for the week because I knew that cafeteria was shutting down for the week.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never forget my friends at the time opening my backpack and they were looking around and throwing Oreos into my backpack. And I was just sitting there. I said, "Wait, guys, wait, stop." And they were like, "Shut up, Ericca." And I was like, "Okay." And they zipped it tight and they said, "Be cool." And I just will never forget walking up to that lady and looking at her. And I looked crazy because I was like, they told me be cool. Now I can't.
Oh God, no.
I'm walking up to her and I'm sitting there hyperventilating. And she said, "What did you get?" I said, 6 swipes. Just 6 swipes. That's it. "How's your day going, ma'am?" And she was just like, "It's going fine." And I was like, I remember just thinking as I was walking towards the door, I was like, a siren, an alarm, something's gonna go off.
Book bad, mad, crunchy with all them Oreos in it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I said, watch a pack of Oreos just fall out my backpack right now. I said, just watch it happen. Nothing happened, but I told him, I said, don't you ever in your life do this to me again. Actually, this just brings up another memory of them doing the exact same thing to me again.
And they did it again. And we need to talk about your friendships. This sounds unhealthy.
I said there, I said, I am accomplice.
Yo, that's crazy work, yo. Hypothetically, university that she loves and will give tons of money back to. Hypothetically. Oh, God. Wow. Okay, never mind.
I need some money. They good. They keep
The
them
face you're making. I need some money. They prepared you for the world.
Actually, I'm gonna need a little bit more than that. They kept them golden Oreos on stock.
Oh my god, yo, golden Oreos or a treat. Oh man. Okay, let me think of another one that I've done. Jeez, this is just you know what my problem is? I was too smart. There are some things I did do that I can't talk about on here. But when I think about the other situations, like there's a time we were renting a house and I heard the laughter getting loud and I knew they were drinking. They were drinking something called 3 Olives, which is absolutely cheap and disgusting. And I saw them wrestling each other. I said, okay, yep. I was like, y'all gonna do some stupid shit. Mm-hmm. The next day, and these are the activities that would happen around me that people would try to draw me into, but I just could see how they would play out. So I would just be like, no. Next day, there was a hole in the wall. We're renting a house.
No.
There is a hole in the wall, and a patch of carpet was burnt. These idiots.
How do you go from wrestling to burning
These
carpet?
idiots were pouring the liquor on their hands and lighting their hands on fire and putting it out. So I could have been burned to death in my sleep while these drunken idiots are wrestling and lighting themselves on fire.
Like it's 1,000 ways to die.
Well,
I'll be damned.
boy, I'd have been so mad if that's how I would have went.
You would have woke up dead and mad.
Dead and mad. Yeah, I would have woke up. What? Wait a minute.
I'll be damned.
I'm gonna wake up from death. That's just there was that one. Gosh, what's another crash dummy mission somebody went on? I can speak vicariously for a lot of people. Why is this so difficult now?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I guess I never came to that many bad situations and peer pressure that they're forgettable. One of them turned out to be really good. There was a party I really didn't want to go to, and we went and we had a blast down at Voorhees College. Shout out to Voorhees. Woo! Shout out to the noobs down there. EQ, what's going on, noobs? Man, I had a great time at that party. Can't tell that story either. Dang. There's a whole lot I can't tell that story. You know what? If you don't have any more, we can move on to the next topic because I feel like I'm incriminating myself, and I'm not, y'all. I promise you, I'm not. You know.
That's why I'm trying to go all the way back to school days. I have maybe 1 or 2 left. And these are like little innocent ones too. I was peer pressured by my family, okay? I don't know if y'all listening, but I'll never forget this because this is something that I think about occasionally and I'm just like, "Dang, girl, why'd you do that?" They wanted to see how fast I could run.
Oh, Jesus.
And I was like, you know how little kids are when you give them something like, let's see you do your dance or let's see how fast you run and everything. I think I had been like 7 or 8. And I was like, yeah, I can run fast. They said, okay, let's see it. And I was like, nah, I'm tired. No, let's see it. Or else you ain't that fast. My objective was to run through our cul-de-sac. I'm running. I'm fast. And I keep telling myself, you fast. I lose my footing completely. Why I roll on my head and I got a knot on my head so big, it lasted for days.
I'll be damned.
Not rolled on your head. Ooh.
I let like my head softened like the blow. Like
You tumbled?
Oh, I tumbled completely, legs up in the air, everything. And occasionally I think about it every once in a while as I'm like washing the dishes. I'm just like, why'd they have me do that? They knew I wasn't coordinated, okay? They knew I wasn't coordinated for one. Like, come on. And I was always easy to get knots on my head as a kid. Like, come on.
What? That's not normal.
Because I was always running into something. Like, I was that clumsy. I still am.
Yeah, you mentioned that a lot.
Yeah.
I'll keep that in mind when I start scheduling us to go places for the podcast. Make sure there's no low-hanging objects.
No sharp corners.
Yeah, door
'Cause
clearances.
yeah, cause that used to be me. I had to go show my mom, said, "Mama, this is gonna go away," and that thing was like out to here. Oh my gosh, it was like another planet on my head. And
Oof, you
I think
reminded me of one.
I think my other one would have to be. It's always something along with my brothers and my cousins, and I'm
Oh, I
pretty
have two
sure.
more. Mm.
Mhm, they peer the ringleader usually peer pressured us to do something. And I want to say, I can't remember if it was us roller skating or if we were just doing like our usual like roughhousing horseplay or not. But there's been instances where I have fallen. I've fallen in roller skates. Thought I broke my tailbone. Did not. I'm
Oof.
just sensitive. Um, horseplay, rough play, and somebody broke the bed in the guest bedroom. And I remember that happening because someone decided that they were going to do some type of suplex and they broke the bed. And I remember being witness to that, but being accused of said crime. I said, come on. I said, me? I said, all these boys, me? Um, and the third one, I would have to say, oh my gosh, it had to have been something dumb revolving stairs for one, because always fell down the stairs. Ooh, I remember trying to pop a wheelie, going down our hill in the cul-de-sac, all of us racing on our bikes, and my dumb self, I flip over my bike
Mm.
because I hit the front brakes. I panicked
Oh,
'cause
come on, yo. You hit the wrong brake.
I said, I'm going too fast. I'm going too fast. And I went to hit the brakes, hit the wrong brake, and I flipped. I flipped, and then I was laid out in that cul-de-sac. And I said, can you believe this?
Did you have a helmet on?
No.
No. None of us had helmets on as kids.
No. And because, I thought I was like that, because I wanted to prove everybody, like, yeah, my mama said I can only go from mailbox to mailbox. Nah, I'm rolling with the big dogs now. I'm up at the top of the street. Yeah, no. I had to go inside for my boo-boo on my shin.
I'll be damned.
My two quick ones. Then we could move on. Damn, Erica. Yeah, you brought back the memories. So the old neighborhood I grew up in, we lived at the bottom of a hill. So like you come into the neighborhood and you make a curve, and there's literally like, I don't want to exaggerate too far. The hill is at least a quarter of a mile long. And
Mhm.
all the rest of the neighborhood, they have streets that branch off to the right. But like the hill is not that steep until you get closer to the bottom. And then you go around the curb. My house was right on the right hand side of that. And then actually the street keeps going and there's another hill. It's very interesting. I'll have to show you a map of it.
Yeah.
I was learning how to ride a bike. Shout out to my dad. My dad bought me a girl's bike to learn how to ride on because for some reason idiots thought that guys need a straight bar on their bike where they can.
Ooh.
But yeah, so I rode. So those of you who don't know, girl bikes had like the two bars that connected the other half of the bike were both lower. So as a boy, when you fall, you don't hit your manhood or nothing like that. Because that happened to me once as a kid, and I thought it was over. I think one of my boys still ain't right to this day. Somebody need to invent something for that.
Yeah. I mean, there's like protector gear, but you wouldn't expect to wear it for a bike.
Right. So I learned how to get pretty good on the bike. So my dad, my brother, oh, we're going to go for a ride. I don't know if my mom was with me. I don't remember. Oh, we're going to ride down the neighborhood hill.
Mm-mm.
Yo,
Mm-mm.
I said, I don't remember wanting to do that at all. So we riding down the neighborhood hill. We're getting, I'm flying, bro. Like, I'm going to show you, literally, when we finish, I'm going to show you on Google Maps my neighborhood and that hill and where my house was.
Mm-hmm.
Dog, my memory tells me it was a pine cone. But I ran over something,
Uh-oh.
went airborne.
Gone.
I went
Yup.
airborne and I rolled. I don't remember how far I rolled, but you know how everybody got them scars on their shins and kneecaps from being a kid?
Yep.
That's where mine came from. That's why earlier when you were talking, I went to look at my knee. The scar is still there. Still visible, too. Yo, I hit that ground. It was doop, doop, doop. Only God kept me alive. Definitely didn't have a helmet on, no elbow pads, nothing. Brand new ass rider, no protection. Right? It's the early '90s. He'll be all right. Dog, I tumbled and befumbled so far, man. I was skinned up. I probably got something on my elbow. I was skinned up bad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I was skinned up so bad. Yeah, I don't think I rode my bike for a long while after that.
Like,
That
in the
sucked.
summer. Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad, man. Shoot, I almost made me forget my other story. I did forget my other story. I'm getting old. Wait, what was it? It was the bike.
Was it something with cousins?
Oh my God, I'm not even gonna get started on those. Jesus. Yeah, I'm not gonna get started on that. We could move on. Though those are enough times where peer pressure has cost us, both me and Erica, just by listening to others. But now, and I'll keep this brief because that's pretty much what we talk about on this show is the power of thinking for yourself. So as I actually alluded to earlier, part of the reason I didn't succumb to a lot of the peer pressure is because I thought for myself. I could kind of see who was involved, see the activity they were doing, and saying, nope, y'all can call me whack and corny from the sidelines while y'all burn up the floor and knock holes in the wall. And then proceed to ask me how we're going to cover the damages. We? What? What? Yeah. That's when I found out you can buy patches of carpet and patch it. Yeah. Yeah. So, the power of thinking for yourself. What that does is, it gives you control. Control is something that a lot of people seek in life. And you can get control a lot of different ways. And I'm talking about control in a positive way. But it gives you control over your thoughts and control over also how people value you and treat you. When people know that you think for yourself and you're independent, a lot of times they won't even ask you to do stuff. Like I've kind of gotten to that place now. There are certain friends who won't even ask me to do certain things because they know I'm just not on that type of time, and I don't like the peer pressure stuff don't work on me. Like if I'm sleepy, I'm going to bed. I don't care who's in town and how long they're in town for. I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
If y'all about to do this and there's some shady stuff involved, I'm good. I don't need no brush-ins with the law. Nope, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, just certain locations. There's just certain things where I just know, right? But also the power of thinking for yourself. It just saves you from... It saves you from those outside influences. You may expose yourself to something that you weren't ready for. That's how a lot of people's first time using drugs is. Or their first time, experiencing something you're too young to be experiencing that, whatever it may be. A lot of people's first time doing those things and those things changing the entire trajectory of their lives comes from peer pressure. So I think it's very important, one, to think for yourself, but as parents, teach your kids to think for themselves. And it's going to annoy you because it is going to backfire. Like the viral clip of the little girls in the car with the parents, and they were ordering something at the drive-thru. And she was like, "Can I have a cookie?" And she was like, "Well, we have cookies at the house." And she was like, "But we have coffee at the house and you ordered that." And she ordered a cookie. So
Sounds like something I would say.
Right. So for me, that's the power of thinking for yourself. What about you, Erica?
I definitely agree with the control. Definitely giving yourself that ability and that say so. I also believe that the power for thinking of yourself definitely also gives you a great deal of confidence, self confidence. You want to make sure that the choices that you are choosing, they're right for you, and that gives you a lot more. I guess it just really reaffirms yourself and makes you, I guess, not better, but it improves how you see yourself in the long run.
It does.
Because you know that who you stand for, what you stand for, and you're confident within. You don't have any room for anyone to come in there and make you question that. I think that's a really big thing to personal development as well. And I mean, there's been so many instances of that where I've had to say, no, I don't think so. I don't think that's going to work. I don't think we should go and do that. And it be proven 100% right on how I felt later on. I think of when I was trying to go to Morgan State's homecoming. with my friend, and she was telling me like, no, we gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go. And I thought about it and thought about it. I said, that's kind of a hike for us. And lo and behold, there was a shooting that occurred. So I'm like that, and I'm like, see, that just reaffirmed like, no, like I know what areas to stay away from. I'm confident in knowing certain situations and seeing how they can play out and being away from that, because that's not what I want to be with. That's not where I want to be aligned with, who I want to be with. So it definitely instills a certain level of confidence that you're on the right track. You know who you are at the end of the day.
It also sheds a light on who your true friends are, because
Yes.
I'll be damned.
Anyone who gets upset with you, has a nasty attitude, or holds that against you, there's something there. Man, you don't never want to, you whack for that, blah, blah. It's like, how about respecting each other's independence?
Yeah.
Like I've been telling people for the past 2 years, this is just, and they don't get it. And it wasn't that I was trying to stop drinking, but like, I don't drink like I used to. Oh, let's have a toast, blah, blah. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I don't do that as much anymore. And people get an attitude like, oh, you don't drink now? And I'm like, no, like some years ago, for some reason, depending on what it is, when I drink alcohol, it really upsets my stomach really badly. Like, I don't know what it is. I've tried different ones. I can't put my finger on it. So now I drink very, like, even if I do decide to drink something, typically it's a beer at this point and not a lot. And I'm very cautious of that because I don't like the way that my body is responding to it, which is also a sign of your body telling you, hey, mofo, don't do this anymore. Right?
Yeah.
And that's what it is. Like, some of it is literally a physical state that it puts you in. But also, when you get older, it's like, y'all ain't tired of doing that yet? Like,
Exactly. That's the same thing.
Like, drinking is cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did my fair share of it. I know what it does. I know how it can make you feel. I'm good. I don't need that every time I celebrate. I don't need it every time I'm gathered with friends and family. It's something, honestly, the only time I really actually like drinking is if I know I'm going to have a nice settled in game session, getting a nice little buzz, not too much, maybe like a beer, like a tall can of beer, put you right in that space, man. That's it. But I don't like to even try to function. When I have to do functional things, I don't like to have to actually function under the influence of anything. So that's another reason I tend not to drink. But that's just me. Ericca, anything else on the power of thinking for yourself?
No, other than if you are someone who's trying to get more into that, just start with something small and you'll gradually be able to build your way up through it over time. I mean, you could even gradually go as far as, I don't know. There's so many different things, but someone saying, "Oh, well, you should do this," and you're like, "Actually, I think I'll just." I mean, you could just. It's something so small, so simple like that, with a small daily interaction that you may have, and you'll realize how common it is for people to, I guess, unknowingly and knowingly try to press you into a route or into a situation, and it's unnecessary because you should be able to make your own decision. But it is so common. It's very common. That's all I have to say.
Message to the brothers. Brothers, when you're in the barbershop, no matter what happens, don't let them spray that stuff in your hair like they just did me. All right.
Peer pressure.
No, I was caught off guard. Side story. This ain't peer pressure. This is when life happens. My barber does appointments, and I haven't been booking my appointment, so he gets busy. So there is no appointments until after the 4th, and this was like a week and a half ago. I was trying to book this appointment, so I had to go to my alternative barber. He only go to the alternative barber when I forget to book my main barber. So the alternative barber is 20 minutes late to the appointment.
Oh,
and there's two barbers sitting in there, and I got to choose.
No.
So my haircut look bad? Does that?
No, it's just I do know that situation where there's them and I could take you. No.
Listen, so I don't even know if we spoke English. No, everybody in there is Hispanic. But anyway, I showed him a picture of the cut. I just said F it. Dude, I've never cut my whole beard off, pretty much.
Oh
You can't tell? My beard is
Oh
like
my
gone.
gosh. Dang.
Yeah, he was going over it, which actually I didn't mind. I'd actually been thinking about cutting my beard. I mean, it's like
summer.
Yeah, it's like 90% gone, but I just want to restart that hair. But and he showed me I didn't have as much hang time as I thought because he had a guard on it, so he was going over it. Then the shape up he gave me around, like the fade he gave me was crazy. He was fading me for like 30 minutes. So I have a really nice fade. But at the end he held up that little angle card and I heard the little thing go. I said, "Oh no!" But funny enough, when I got home and washed my hair, like I couldn't see what he did. Because I always wash my hair when I leave the barber anyway. Like, like half y'all don't clean y'all equipment. Like, well, not half y'all. I don't know that y'all all clean your equipment the way you should. But
those bumps that you might get. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No signs yet. But I actually was really satisfied with the haircut. I normally don't get my haircut like this, but it works for me. And it feels refreshing. But anyway, sorry, brothers, for you. Just take the theme of this episode actually to heart. A lot of us, me being a young black man, we succumb to peer pressure and it messes us up. I have been peer pressured into doing things legally and illegally. And I just happen to be one of the lucky ones. That's just the bottom line. Like I've been asked and coerced to do some very stupid and irresponsible things. But I'm lucky enough to have either been strong enough to say no or just not get caught or be let go. Being looked at as the stupid kid that I was and someone letting it go. But that's not always the case, especially once you get older, man. So exercise your power to think for yourself. And if the only people that you can keep around you that you call friends are the ones who only like you when you tell them yes, that tells you all you need to know about your friendships. And I'm going to end it on that one. That was just too smooth for me to even keep going. I cannot wait to start doing video. Well, yes, I can. Sorry, I gotta still buy you a webcam, Erica. My car taxes were due $176. Yeah.
You're good. You're good.
Yeah.
Taxes.
Yeah.
Man.
Anyway, that hurt, but we love y'all. We hope that you haven't been succumbing to peer pressure lately, and we hope that you don't have to. It is okay to think for yourself. We love y'all. We want you to make sure you take care of yourselves physically, mentally, and financially, and we'll catch y'all on the next episode of From My Experience podcast. Peace.
Bye-bye.